And then I have to hit the record on this computer. Here we go. All right, it's still setting up. Or maybe it's not. It says it's streaming. It's redirecting. Here we go. Come on, internet. Okay, yeah, we're doing things. So we have roughly 3 minutes.
Awesome.
So we just smile. There you go. Love it. Love it. For everyone that is tuning in right now or who's going to watch this later, fast forward through the first 3 to 4 minutes. We're just waiting for the internet to catch up with our greatness.
3 to 4 minutes is, that's not long to catch up with greatness.
There you go. Some people it takes a lifetime.
I know.
I'm clearly well caffeinated today. So
Yes. Like I said, I actually got outside. So like I got some vitamin D. I like breathed
whole
some
new
fresh
world.
air. Yeah, I got to see the state of all the latest boarded up buildings and street art and the new they've built a castle wall around our local police station. It's very exciting in my neighborhood.
Okay.
I know, right?
Happening.
Things are happening.
Well, I hadn't been in Seattle for maybe 2 months. And then I went in for brunch. And I was like a shock to the system to see like all the things that were still boarded up and just like downtown being kind of this no man's land. And it was like, oh wow, this like, because on the east side that was on television and in Twitter feeds, right?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's my neighborhood. Welcome to Capitol Hill.
oh, lots going on.
A lot going on.
Is it still a lot of protesting or occupancy?
Not as much. It sounds like everybody's down in Portland now, so Capitol Hill's a little quieter, which is the sound of helicopters overhead was quite an experience for a few weeks. That was rough.
Yeah. I mean,
and with helicopters.
I am not creative enough to write the screenplay for 2020.
I think it's still unfolding, but it's sort of, I'm going to pitch it as like a horror, supernatural, maybe there's like some rom-com in there somewhere.
It's got to be a little bit of comedy.
There's got to be.
Because there's been some laughable moments.
Yeah.
Not going to lie.
I mean, laugh when you might cry kind of moment.
Right. Cry, laughter, cry. A little more crying, laughter.
Like those two emojis, just back and forth.
Back and forth.
Like, laughy cry, sobby cry, laughy cry, sobby cry.
Yeah. Laughy, sobby cry.
Yeah, back and forth.
Oh yeah, it's 3 p.m. Everyone look alive. We're officially starting the 5 days of focus live. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. So I'm going to do some brief announcements and then we're going to jump into a spirited conversation with our amazing guest. So once again, I am Keita Williams. I am the founder and chief strategist of Success Bully. Success Bully is an elite accountability practice, so that makes me your personal, professional butt kicker. And if you've been following the 5 days of focus, you know that this is a community all around setting and achieving our big, hairy, audacious goals. And so we just wrapped up our challenge in August, but we have another challenge coming up, and we have that scheduled for October 12th. And so if you haven't already registered, reach out to your concierge and register for the 5 days of focus challenge in October. If your first name begins with the letters A through K, Monica is your concierge. Monica, go ahead and wave at the nice people. And Maggie is your concierge if your first name begins with the letters L through Z. So get involved. You can register at successbully.com/challenge and know that this time we're going big. Because, we do nothing small. We like to iterate. So there will be giveaways. There will be prizes. There will be interesting things happening in the 5 days of focus that starts October 12th. So look for more on that. And so now that I've gotten my big old commercial out of the way, now that I've done my big old commercial, I want to transition to our amazing guest. Ariel Meadow Stallings. Oh, I'm so excited to just like pick your brain and have a spirited conversation. So I'm going to give some people some context because we've shared a little bit. But you are a Seattle-based writer, so you're in Capitol Hill. So we're all in
Mhm.
the greater Seattle area. You're a publisher, media commentator, and I loved with this one, web community mobilizer. I was like, oh, yes, spicy. Ariel has over 15 years of corporate experience. She's been an award-winning copywriter, marketing manager, and I even thought I stalked you on LinkedIn because why wouldn't I do that as a weirdo? Uh, that you're also like you started as a journalist and kind of made the transition back and forth into like the different corporate spaces within the writing and creative discipline. So you've written for amazing social networks, newspapers. I love this nose hair trimmers and just about everything in between. And you
Yeah.
produced amazing marketing materials for Amazon, Seattle Times, Microsoft, and Disney. But on the other side of the house, you cut your teeth as a music editing a music magazine in the 90s. We got to talk about that too. Um, and and this is what's near and dear to my heart is that you were able to build a media empire based on your disinterest around planning a wedding. I don't know if that's the right way to say that. With the Offbeat Bride, the creative alternatives for brides, and that spun a whole brand and media platform around it. Your latest book, From Shit Show to Afterglow, was published in June of this year, correct?
July got pushed
July.
back a month. Yeah.
July of 2020 and July 20 just 2020 in general. We'll talk more about that. And so like you've built this media empire, you've made some shifts and changes. You have this amazing following of over 50 million readers and a social media footprint of over 150,000 followers on Facebook and Instagram. So, welcome to the show. We're so excited to have you. So, my first question, kicking things off, so you have like you the career arc is really interesting, and so like how did you make the transition from like journalist, storyteller, marketing expert to media mogul? Like what was that process like?
Yeah, I got my start working for a rave magazine, so like very inauspicious beginnings as a scene reporter for an underground music magazine in the 90s. And then starting in the late 90s, I started getting into a little bit of technical editing, but then pretty quickly marketing copywriting for
Mm.
Seattle Times, for Amazon, eventually for Microsoft. And I mean, my goal at the time was I will make money writing. And
Good
while a
goal.
lot of my colleagues and classmates were going to go get MFAs, were
Hmm.
pitching articles to magazines and newspapers, getting jobs for alt weeklies, I was like, I will make money writing, even if it means I have to write brochures about obituaries for the Seattle Times. Like I
Brochures
had a
about
very
the
practical
obituaries.
approach. Yeah, I was like, my goal is to pay my bills as a writer, not to write the great American novel. I can wait for that. Um, I was like, I want to I want to be a professional writer in whatever way I can. And corporate writing was how I was able to do that. And I've joked that like my MFA was marketing copywriting, which, it's like a different assignment every day.
Right.
Your writing has to be persuasive. It has to be accessible. It has to be compelling.
And
I
it has to
really,
convert.
it has to convert. So I
Mhm.
really, I don't have a degree in English. My degree is in sociology. I learned how to write in corporate America. I mean, I was a like became a copywriter because I had solid writing skills, but I learned everything I know, using creative briefs and the
Mm,
feedback of marketing managers
I
who were
love
just
a
like, yes.
creative brief. I love a creative brief. That's one of my secret like things. Like like put it on paper what you want me to do.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love a creative brief. So
yeah,
then, so what sparked you to kind of start your offbeat empire? Like
yeah.
what what happened there?
So the joke is that I was working for Microsoft at the time, which
Hmm.
everybody used to call the evil empire. I don't think anybody calls them that anymore, because compared to like Facebook and, you know, like they're not that evil. But back in the day, they were called the evil empire. And then I would joke that like, oh, I finally got a book deal. I got to write this wedding book. I split my time between the evil empire and then my own, I mean, the book was called Offbeat Bride, so I guess it's the offbeat empire. And note to self, don't name your company after a joke. Because like it was a joke. The Offbeat Empire was a joke, and then it was a joke that became an LLC. So I started getting into, you know, part of how I got hired at Microsoft. This was in 2007 when blogging was still like kind of new and exciting.
Like blogs.
Yeah, they hired me to do a staffing marketing blog. So it was my job to interview like cool employees at Microsoft and profile them on, I called it micro spotting, kind of like train spotting. And
I
so
love all of this.
like, right, they were like, ooh, blogs are cool, let's hire a blogger. But ultimately I would do my blog for them during the day, and then I would go home at night and work on my own website. And then I got laid off when I was 8 months pregnant. And
awesome.
It sounds bad, but let me tell you, Microsoft severance is even better than Microsoft maternity leave. So it all worked out. It all worked out.
Well, like this is really interesting. And I try, we have like quite a few side hustlers in this community that it's not a either or. You don't have to decide to either be an entrepreneur or either work in corporate. You can do both. And especially in your case, you were able to do very similar things and learn on someone else's dime and then apply it to your own space, right?
Exactly. And I will say that I have moments, to everyone who's working their side hustle, the price you pay for turning your side hustle into your main hustle is the pressure on your hustle is much more. And I will confess that I sometimes fantasize about going back to corporate and having my hustle get to be like my fun side project that I do, like, oh, you know, you can buy it or not buy it. I don't care. My bills are paid. I do this because I love it. I mean, I still do what I do because I love it, but I love it and it pay the bills, which is a different, you know, that's the price you pay for doing what you love for a living, is what you love becomes your living. And it's a little...
Yeah, you do have to find that balance. You do have to find that balance. And I do think like, I think every now and again, I like apply for a job, even though I'm like totally unemployable at this point.
I know. I have these moments where it's like a corporate job starts to sound like a vacation sometimes.
I'm like, oh, you just go there for 8 hours.
Oh God, and when you leave, you're done.
You're done.
Actually, in the days of COVID, everybody's working from home. None of us ever stop working. It doesn't matter if you're corporate or self-employed.
Yeah,
we're all like tethered to our laptops and our couches. So
yeah, so like it doesn't have the sex appeal it did a while ago. I will say the last interview I went on before I went full time in my business, you know, I put Success Bully on my resume, right? Because I've done cool stuff with it. And the whole interview was about, tell me more about Success Bully. And I was like, I'm not going to get this job. I just wasted an hour.
Yeah.
So anyway, fun stories. So at what point were you like, wait, this is a thing. This is not just a blog. Like this is my baby is a legit business. At what point were you like at that space?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think anyone who's written a book knows that you don't make a ton of money off of books. So I launched offbeatbride.com as a way to promote the book. After 6 months, I realized no one's really buying the book, but people are really, really into the website. This isn't working. I'm not selling books, but people are into the website and are asking about promotions. So maybe I should start selling ads. And the point at which, so I started selling ads after 6 months. The point at which offbeatbride.com was making more in a week than I had made from my book ever. Was the point at which I was like, oh, we have fully switched revenue models. I'm no longer selling books. The book is a souvenir you get if you love the website. I am now selling ads. And yeah, it's hard because I wrote the book because I was wanting to be like finally a legitimate writer. And, you know, I felt like sort of no one respected me because I did a lot of writing on the web, and this is the mid O's, and no one respected web writers. So I was like, I'm going to have a book. I'm finally going to be someone important.
I'm a writer.
The irony that like the book became essentially the it was a souvenir. The people who loved the website were like, oh, I guess I'll buy the book too. Like, that's the way it goes.
I love the twists and turns. So then Offbeat Bride spun off several other brands, correct?
Totally. Yeah. At the high water mark, there was Offbeat Bride, Offbeat Mama, which became Offbeat Families, Offbeat Home and Life, and then Offbeat Empire, which was like small business advice for a while. So for a while, there were 4 channels. And my goal was that, you know, Offbeat Bride, I built into this very successful ad revenue model. And then each channel, I would use the same model with a vendor guide, with sponsored posts, with third-party ads, with affiliate. Now, the truth of the matter was I couldn't even replicate my own success with Offbeat Bride. So the other sites did varying degrees of okay.
Right.
But ultimately, it wasn't like I made Offbeat Bride and then I made all these other channels that like Offbeat Bride was always the flagship. And then the other sites were, you know, my hope was to keep readers around. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. And now it's down to just Offbeat Bride and Offbeat Home.
Okay, awesome. So then what is your advice, like, as you're growing, as you kind of like started this accidentally, or it like the digital presence was the accident, and that you said it as a joke. There's a lot of twists and turns here. So when it started growing, how did you have to change as a leader when you have other people involved with your business now?
Yeah. I think making that switch from sole proprietor to manager is such a massive leap. And especially for those of us who have founders control issues, that becomes a really powerful challenge, is delegation and not micromanaging, hiring people who are smarter than you, and then like letting
them be smart.
I think, you know, really the greatest advice I can give is to focus on attunement. That, you know, we launch our businesses with a vision and a goal, and we know what we want. And then you kind of have to also have your, whether it's your intuition or your listening skills or your pivot skills, where yes, you have your goals, yes, you have what you want, but you have to be able to listen to the feedback you're getting about what people actually want from you, what's not working. I mean, I called them the loving euthanations when I was like, I launched a thing, I really wanted it to work. Like the Offbeat Bride vendor guide was this business directory that's still kicking butt 11 years after I launched it. The Offbeat Home vendor guide died within 6 months. The Offbeat Families vendor guide didn't even make it 3 months. Like, I was just like, wow, this didn't work. And I had to listen and swallow my pride and really focus on skills of attunement instead of just skills of goal setting and go get it and make it happen, right? Like, it's that dynamic lean in versus the like, I'm going to sit back and like listen and actually hear what the market is telling me about my work that I'm putting out.
That's so, you know, I'm so glad you brought this up, because that's definitely, I've had that experience where I come up with one of my harebrained ideas, and I work to bring that baby into the world, and it has fallen flat because I didn't ask anybody if they wanted it, right? And so there is something to be said with our side hustlers, our entrepreneurs, our whatever stages this community is in, that like, listen to your market. They will tell you exactly what they want. I have a running joke that I don't build it till they buy it. where like you get a one pager of what I think it is,
Yeah.
but we don't build it till somebody actually buys it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So now, so your latest project, shit show to afterglow. How did that come to be? What
Yeah,
prompted you to write?
so I was running my business, doing my thing, offbeat bride, blah blah blah. And then in 2015, my life just hit the fan, and I had a medical catastrophe. I turned 40, which wasn't bad, but it's just like a milestone.
Right, it's
And
one of
then
those things.
yeah, it's a thing. And then my partnership of 18 years just like ended in a heartbeat. So I went from like small business, healthy, young, 30 something, married, like doing the thing, to like, I'm in my 40s, my body is breaking down, I am suddenly abruptly divorced, and I'm supposed to be running a wedding blog, and what? Like, it was just, so I started writing the book just as a means of survival. Like, I was
Okay.
so floored and so grief stricken, and just a disaster. It was a way for me to just like get through the day sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And then as time went on, I started to feel a little bit of responsibility for my book, and the Offbeat Bride website had ushered so many people into through their weddings and into their marriages and family lives. And I wasn't the only one who'd gone through this shit show of life happening.
Mm-hmm. All
and
at one
and it
time.
was, yeah, all, because it's always all at one time, just like
Got to get them
2020.
in
Like,
threes.
it's never just one thing. And so I had a little bit of a sense of responsibility, not of culpability. Like, it's not my
Right.
fault people got married and then divorced. You know what I mean? But a little bit
I'm not owning that.
right. Like, I'm like, I don't, that's not all mine. You made your own choices, but as a writer and a storyteller and a leader, I guess, I was like, look, I supported y'all through the transition of getting into your lives, and now I want to support y'all in the transition of navigating a shit show and showing you how difficult it was for me, right? Like, this book is very vulnerable, and like, this isn't a like, I kicked ass, I did great. I'm like, I was falling on my face and throwing up and crying as I walked down the street. You know what I mean? Like,
nothing like a good cry in public.
I know. I really wanted to offer people comfort and yes, sure, some guidance, but also just some like, you're really not alone in
Right. We don't all
going
have
through
it
this.
buttoned up. We don't all
Yeah,
have it buttoned up.
and we all like to look at people, on the internet, on the screen, in writing, in books, and be like, oh, they've got it all figured out. Their life is winning. Mine's in shambles, but they're doing great. And I'm like, take me off that pedestal, because like, my life falls apart just like yours. So it felt important. It felt responsible.
And so, like, how did the process of writing a shit show to afterglow, how is that different from your previous books?
Yeah, it's a great question. I really, in my previous books, like with Offbeat Bride, so much of it was I wanted to give advice. I wanted to be like, and here's what you should do. Despite the fact I'd only planned one wedding, I was like,
I'm an expert.
Right. And here on this side of my own shit show, I was like, if I've learned anything, it's that I don't actually know everything. And I can't tell you how to do this. I can model how I did it. I can offer up research on why some of the stuff I did might be helpful for other people. But ultimately, in the same way, Offbeat Bride wasn't about saying, here's how to have an offbeat wedding. Number one, wear a red wedding dress. Number two, it was like, here's how to have an offbeat wedding. Figure out what you like and follow that dream. Shit show to afterglow, I can't tell people what their recovery process is going to look like, but I can ask tough questions. I can model what mine looked like, and then ask tough questions to help them uncover what's going to work for them. So it was less like, I'm the authority, everybody get in line and listen to my wise words, and more like, okay.
I love the shoulder gesture though. That was
you like that?
yeah, it was a lot of shimmies.
I really had to come to this one with a lot of humble pie all over my face, and just be like, I mean, here's some researchers who will tell you why, mindfulness is helpful dealing with trauma, who will tell you why, trauma doesn't get out through talk therapy. You have to do like weird physical stuff to get it out of your body.
Okay.
But I'm not the expert. Like, I don't have a PhD in trauma research. Like, I'm a storyteller in Seattle. Like, I'm qualified to share my story and then like give people breadcrumbs to go learn more.
To figure it out.
And that's really different, to be like, I'm not an authority. I'm just a human trying to get through the shit show that we're all trying to get.
One of the most difficult times of your life.
Yeah. Totally.
Right. And I think like, I think that for our viewers, members, participants that are going through the toughest time of their life right now, what's the nugget you want to share with them? What's the glimmer you want to give them?
Yeah. I think the lesson we are all learning this year is the power of adaptability and the sensation in your body of what resilience feels like, where you're like, there is no way I can do homeschool for my kids while working from home, while I can't navigate all this at once. And then somehow here we are 5 months later and we're like, well, I mean, it's not easy, but somehow I'm doing it. And that the power of human resilience is, if it doesn't feel good,
yeah, no, it's not comfortable at all.
Yeah, it's not comfortable. But I feel like we are all getting an incredible, like, boots on the ground lesson in the power of our own adaptability and resilience.
Awesome. I wish I could do something live and tell that to the, oh wait, I am doing something live and telling that to the world. So then my question for you, so like what is your ripple effect for shit show to afterglow? So like, kind of like the interwebs have changed so much over the last 2 decades, and it feels like you're kind of starting over in terms of like whole different audience, whole different storytelling. How are you approaching your online presence now, and kind of almost starting over?
Yeah, no, it is starting over. I mean, Offbeat Bride and Offbeat Home are still online and they're still doing their thing. But I am launching a new venture called Find Your Afterglow, because branding alert, don't put the word shit show in your brand. Like, I know that's the title of the book, but like, that is not the brand, because I don't want to be the shit show lady for.
And Facebook won't approve your ads.
Exactly that. So I have made a big pivot in terms of, I used to do like wedding and fluffy lifestyle, and now it's like personal development and growth and spirituality and health. And I've also made a big shift after 15 years of running an ad-supported revenue model. I am switching to a subscription-based revenue model because it started to feel, I mean, we've all experienced the agony of clickbait, of the quality of content goes down because it's just about, I made you click, I got your page view, I said something contentious to make you comment because then that's more page views, and then I'm selling the page views. Whatever, I did it for 15 years. It served me well. And at this point, I understand really viscerally the price that's paid for ad-supported content, and I don't want to do it anymore. And so I've been really interested in this emerging sector called the passion economy.
Okay, like it. Passion economy. Tell me more.
Which is these emerging platforms like Patreon, like Substack, like Kajabi, even like OnlyFans, right? Where it's platforms that are built for creators, where creators making money from their patrons or subscribers is built into the platform. It's not like Instagram or blogs where you're like, okay, get the views and then figure out how to monetize it.
Right.
The passion economy is like the tool from the beginning is set up to allow creators and subscribers, patrons, members, whatever, to have a direct communication without, I mean, the way it started to feel for me after a while with the advertising model was it was me trying to relate to my readers with then like the advertisers like watching in the corner, like jerking off, being like, yeah, keep talking, right? Like it felt like this really, sorry, that was very graphic.
That was like,
you know what I mean?
the visual was amazing. I can't wait to do a like slow-mo hyper loop of that for you.
But it really started to feel like as a creator, I wasn't actually relating to my readers. My client was the advertisers. The readers were just the product I was selling. And I wanted the opportunity to relate to the people who care about my work. I wanted to be like in a relationship with them one-on-one without like the creep jerking off in the corner over the page views. You know what I mean?
So,
here we are. I'm trying a subscription-based membership program called the Afterglow, where like it's just me and my readers. There's no ads. There's no algorithm. You pay me. I give you exclusive essays. I give you online courses. I give you daily movement videos. Like there's no gamification. I'm not trying to make you click. If you don't want to click anything,
that's fine too.
You want to go take a nap. You want to pay your membership and then ignore every single email I send. You go for it. Like, I'm not going to manipulate you into clicking because that's not what the relationship is like anymore. It feels great. I like it.
Oh, freeing, right?
Yeah.
So now with this new approach, you know, one of the things that we're really passionate about is time management. And we actually say that we don't believe in time management. We call it ruling your time because management implies it has a choice. So how are you ruling your time with this new venture?
Yeah, it's, self-employment and a new venture is always hard for those of us who tend towards workaholism because there's just no
shutting off.
There's no stopping. So I think we all have our different challenges I deal with. My challenge is turning off. Like it's I'm like, I want to do all the things. I want to do all of it all at once. And the reality is not only is that pace not sustainable for me, it's actually not sustainable for my market either, right? Like they can't keep up when I'm like, so I am really having to schedule my downtime. Where I'm like, Saturdays are sacred. I will not work on Saturday. I won't even think about working. Sometimes a little work sneaks in on Sunday, but then I usually end up feeling bad. Like it doesn't actually feel good in my body when I'm like, here I am on Sunday afternoon and click, 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 click. Like I'm really, I don't know if it's a factor of aging or just of being in the game hustling for 15 years, but I have to pace myself. And so in this era of working from home, in this era of, where a lot of us are pivoting and, working on side hustles or main hustles, sustainable, you have to rest. Which I know that doesn't quite fit with Success Belly. Like you're like, go get those goals. I'm like, but you have to rest too.
I take every Saturday off.
Yeah.
Every Saturday is off. We actually just reworked my schedule. So I coach one-on-one clients on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Monday is group coaching, live show. Wednesday is my office hours. And then I'm supposed to be off on Friday. So I have Friday and Saturday off. So Sunday, we do our team meeting and just kind of like I do CEO Sunday.
Yeah.
So we're building more rest in as we're scaling. Cause if I'm not rested, I'm not well. And there's still things that I have to do that we can't outsource. So we are building more around that rest and then not feeling guilty when I'm done working at 6.
Yeah. Do you follow the NAP ministry?
Yes, in Atlanta. Yes. I love the NAP ministry. Where I'm there was one day last week where I was like, you know what? It was full disclosure. I'm getting personal. Everybody climb into the tree of trust. So you know how you get that, that what do you call it? Period malaise. Where
Yes.
like yeah, like the headache, the bloating, you just the whole world is going to shit and you're on your period. So I just climbed in bed. And it was
Yep.
like middle of the day, and I'm not a napper, but that was one of those, you know what? I'm not being productive right now. So I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
take
Yeah, you have to. I have learned as I've gotten more into like somatic embodiment work, I'm like, I have to pay attention to my body because I'm not just a brain floating up here. And when my body feels bad, I do bad work. Like
yeah,
it's
it's
not even like, oh, I just
very
grind through it and get it done. It is subpar work that I
mhm,
often end up having to go and redo anyway. So it's actually
you're doing
more
it
productive.
twice.
It's more productive to be like, wow, my body feels bad. I'm starving. I have to pee and I'm exhausted. Like, dude, 2 hour break, nap. You can work late if you
Reboot.
want to, but like
Well,
take the
wait,
rest. It's
that's
sustainability is important.
I love that sustainability. That's also something we kind of coach around is like the hustle is a lie. You know, if it's hard, you're probably doing it wrong. So there are
Yeah.
more efficient ways of doing things. You don't have to do everything yourself. Understanding your genius zone versus what needs to be outsourced. Like
Yeah.
there, the when I first started, and you know, I started this. I said it as a joke. It was a side hustle that it turned into something. There were I would be up all night working on stuff. Up
Yeah.
all night, up all night, and like I can't do that now. My body will not allow it. But
Yeah.
also like to what end?
Exactly.
You to what end? To what?
Yeah.
And more does not mean more. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's talk about the goal setting because that's another thing that we really
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
So how has your goal setting and your approach changed, especially since like COVID-19 has like
Oh my God.
upended everything? So how are you approaching your goals now?
Yeah, I had big financial goals for this year that I had like little post-its sticking up being like, rah, rah, that I was like in March, I was like, boop, I'm
Yep,
gonna
I took most of the
take
calendar
those
down.
post-its down because that's just like that attunement and adaptability. Like
Mhm.
a goal is great, but you also have to be able to listen. I think for me, it has been around yes, I have financial goals and, conversion goals and
Mhm.
membership goals. And I'm also having to have like self forgiveness and adaptability goals,
Mhm.
right? Where I'm like, am I able to not berate myself when it doesn't work? And that's hard. That's actually the hardest work I have is not hating myself inside my
Not
head.
beating yourself up as an overachiever.
Oh my God.
You know, like that
Oh my God.
conversation is oh, like I think I judge myself harder than anyone else.
Oh,
There's, you know,
it's
like
terrible.
I
It's
yeah.
terrible.
So managing that bit, yeah, when it's like that
Yeah.
didn't work, just taking that as a learning
Yep. Yep.
versus, it is not an indication that I'm a bad person or a bad business
Totally.
owner.
Yeah. No, I really have had some moments. I'm filling my house with plants to get me through quarantine. And
Oh
I've had
yes.
moments where I'm like, this plant has new growth, just as I have new growth. Like I'm literally having to talk to myself like a kindergartner to be like, this plant doesn't expect its new leaf to be a huge leaf within a day of popping out. How can I expect my new venture to be, a 7-figure business within a month of launching? Like, and to
Yeah,
anyone who's launching a 7-figure business within a month of launching, kudos to you. Like,
I salute
please,
you.
yeah, please let me rub your butt so some of the sparkle
I
comes
just think,
off.
can I
Because
touch the hem of your garment?
yeah, because if there are people launching hugely successful businesses this year. My neighbor who does
Mhm.
dog training is kicking ass this year because everyone's getting pandemic puppies. Like 2020 isn't terrible for everyone, but
Mhm.
for many of us, I think the goals and the metrics are shifting to can I adapt? Can I be kind to myself when my plans don't play out? Can I schedule a nap instead of crying into my 6th cup of coffee? You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
right, 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 right.
I still have my goals, just what the goals are have sort of shifted to like not breaking my body or my brain. Ta-da.
Not breaking your body or your brain. That's a great goals to have. Well, I definitely feel like we didn't change the big goal this year. We had to change the how. It wasn't the what, It
Yeah.
was the how we were going to go about doing it. And
Yeah.
you know, I hope that we hit the goal, but like in the transition of changing our how to be a completely virtual business, we
Yeah.
actually have a longer runway. We have more opportunities to scale.
Yeah.
Like it is it like it this it, the pandemic has been a blessing for my adaptability, but also for our business, because like
Yeah.
we wouldn't have tried some of these things had
Yeah.
the pandemic not forced our hand. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
amazing. It's
Yeah.
amazing. So
Yeah.
lightning round, what are you currently reading?
I'm reading a book called The Mind Gut Connection.
Oh,
Yeah.
mind gut connection. Okay, I
Yeah.
have to look. And is that around eating healthy or just that?
It's about how there's like a whole brain inside our abdominal walls and stomach intestinal situation, and that like the mental and digestive stuff is like talking back and forth all the
Oh,
time. So
okay, gotta get into that. Okay,
yeah,
I'm
it's a
looking
good book.
forward to more on that. So then that brings me into, so if we're talking mind gut connection, do you have a signature dish or a signature snack that is your go-to for energy and all of that stuff?
You know, I am a fan of the good old scrambled eggs and a salad. I keep it simple. We got some protein, we got some produce. It takes
Yeah.
2 ingredients. Go.
Boom. I like it. Scrambled eggs and salad. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so
Simple.
to land the plane, what do you hope that our viewers take home? What is your advice for these goal getters? I know we kind of talked about it within the space of if you're going through challenges, but if you had to leave them with one golden nugget, what would be the golden nugget?
Yeah, you know, I think the lie that the suffering that a lot of us are experiencing in 2020 tells us is that we're alone. Like,
Mm,
I alone am struggling this hard. I alone am having this difficult of a time getting out of bed. I alone, right? Like, our brains tell us, like, it sucks for me especially bad. And the reality is, those stories about how we're all alone are actually what unite us.
right.
And when we feel the most miserable is actually when we're the most united in our like shared challenge and humanity and resilience, right? Because that's the afterglow. Basically, like the shit show is the shock and the trauma and the
Mhm.
burn down, and then the afterglow is the adaptability and the resilience. So yeah, the suffering is actually when we're least alone, because we're all fucking in it this year. So
Right. Literally.
literally.
Literally, we're all
Yeah.
experiencing it. So thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for sharing the like wait, hold on, let me check the comments. Hold on. Yeah, okay, so there are no burning questions
Okay.
in the comments. But thank you for thank you for these amazing nuggets, and the when my body feels bad, I do bad work. That I kind of, these are like random quotes. So I think you get a note on the quote board. So so thank you so much, Ariel Meadow Stallings.
Thank you
And
so much for having
thank
me.
absolutely. And thank you all for tuning in. Once again, I'm Keita Williams, founder and chief strategist of Success Bully. This has been the 5 Days of Focus Live. Make sure that you follow up with your concierge so you can get signed up for our 5 Days of Focus challenge, which starts on October 12th. So with that, let's get after it. Okay. Bye.